What's up, fighters? This is K9C back with another TNF podcast. I'm Shamaro,
Wolfpack reporting for duty.
Hero coming at you right here.
and we first of all we need to start off with apologizing for the lateness of episode 2. It should have dropped this past Sunday. We do apologize for the delay. I wasn't feeling too well that past week, and the reviewing and uploading of the episode got delayed, so we do apologize for that, but we hope you will still check back with it and to get all the juicy details and our opinions on the recent Tekken 7 tournament, World Tour, and all the other awesome discussion topics that we had. Anyway, moving on. So we have a new format here. We're going to be hopefully more organized with our layout. And with that, I'm going to hand us over to Wolf, who has some updates on the Capcom Cup X tournament in February.
Thank you very much, brother. Yes, Capcom Cup X is coming up very soon, and we have news on how the tournament is going to break down. So, obviously, you've got your mini tournaments leading up to Capcom Cup X. And from February 16th to 18th, there will be last chance qualifiers. So there will be up to 512 players who are going to be competing in an offline tournament for an opportunity to lock in the final spot for the tournament. So again, February 16th to 18th, up to 512 players competing in an offline tournament to secure the last spot for Capcom Cup X. From there, got a few days to rest and recover. February 21st through to the 23rd is group stage elimination. So the field will be narrowed down to 48 players that are divided up into 8 groups of 6. And the winners and runner-ups from all of those respective groups will be advancing into the top 16, so essentially the final part of the tournament. Now, with that said, top 16 brackets are going down on February 25th, so again, that is only the winners and the runner-ups from the group stage elimination. And we've got not just a prize pool of $1 million, hello, if that's not incentive enough, but
Damn.
There is also the fame, fortune, and glory of being named the inaugural Street Fighter VI World Champion. Now, if you guys thought that the global finals for Tekken World Tour 2023 was crazy, just wait until Capcom Cup X starts up. It is going to be a hell of a ride. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy. Can't wait for it.
Nice. So I'm definitely excited for that. Farrell, what about you?
First Tekken out. I mean, I've never really watched any of these, but if they do, I'm pretty sure they'll have a stream of it, of course, and I'll be sure to check it out.
Oh yeah, dude.
We gotta check out the competition.
Oh yeah, like we're definitely gonna have to do like a group watch of this entire thing, because like the TWT that we did last week, like that was my first fighting game tournament that I ever saw live, and I got pumped for it. I'm sure you will be too, Pharaoh. So yeah, we can look forward to that.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to see just how diverse the roster is going to be in regards to not just the last chance qualifiers, but also the group stage eliminations and the top 16. Like, who knows? We could be seeing a bunch of Ken players, bunch of Marissa players, Luke players, Ryu players, Cammy players. Holy smokes. It's going to be very interesting.
Like it is the new game. Like, characters are changed from what they were in the last game, so safe to say we don't know who's going to be like the real big player character in this tournament, right, Wolf?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And anything can happen, so never say never when it comes to things like this. But yes, February 16th through to the 25th is Capcom Cup X. Make sure to mark your calendars for all those dates, and be sure to catch as much of the competition as you possibly can. Again, as Shamaro said, we will be doing our own little watch parties. so to speak, so that we can all watch the tournament together. And yeah, we'll be sure to cover as much of the tournament as we possibly can. So with that said, we have some very interesting news from our good friend Pharaoh. Pharaoh, would you like to fill us in here, buddy?
Of course, all your good news from Capcom and everything at the tournament. But there's a little bit of negative PR that's been coming from them lately, about a week or so ago, with the introduction of some of their older titles, including Street Fighter 30th Anniversary, but most prominently, hang on, sorry, mine was in a bit of a tizzy, but don't worry.
Yeah, no worries.
Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil Revelations, mostly to be more precise. They have apparently Capcom has added a new DRM to replace the old Denuvo one, which I'm pretty sure for those of you who've been playing on Steam, and especially been playing Capcom games for a while, you know this can be a bit problematic. You know, you guys probably already know all the issues with Denuvo. Supposedly, of course. But
for those of us who might not be as familiar with Pharaoh, do you want to give us like a quick rundown?
Of course. So Denuvo is a DRM. It's kind of like anti-cheat, anti-mod stuff. As at least over the last couple of years, Capcom's gotten a bit. How do I put this lightly? It's more
overprotective.
They've kind of gone into an anti-consumerish phase, sort of. Basically, this DRM, which is called Enigma Protector, which admittedly I don't really know a whole much about the company. There's no information even posted. Jeez, it's like, where the heck they even come from? But apparently, what this stuff can do is it just sits in your computer, kind of like it just sits in your computer, and it may scan your files every so often. Usually, just to check like if you've modified a file in your system, like not your system, like in the game files. And it's gotten a lot of flurries of outreach over the Steam communities. Lately, they've been some games have been review bombed, like Resident Evil 4 and Revelations, for example, because some people do believe this stuff is malware. Now, I'm not gonna make any claims because I don't know enough myself, but apparently what we've got here, hang on. No, I lost the thought. Don't worry. I personally think that this may have come from a little incident that happened back in 2013 in a Street Fighter, an earlier Street Fighter 6 tournament. I'm pretty sure that some of our fans may know about this, or some of our watchers. You may have heard of the nude Chun-Li incident that happened earlier last year.
Yes. That was.
I think I do remember hearing something about that. Yeah.
Yep, that was a big point of controversy. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh, yeah.
So you're thinking that's what kind of launched Capcom into this sort of anti-modding phase in earnest?
No, I believe that this may have been like part of it, but I don't really know what's been going on.
Okay, but you think that's like a definite like final nail in the coffin for that, basically?
No, I actually think more might come, but I'm not totally sure. But if I'm sure of anything, this definitely may have been part of what happened, and why this is happening.
And that's gonna be like a real problem because Steam is like it's got a huge modding community, and they love to just toy with games and see what they can do to expand on them. And personally, I think modding is just fine. Like once you put like it's not like as long as you're not trying to sell anything, like repackage anything and sell anything yourself.
Yeah.
I think if you're trying to be transformative about this and fair use rights and all that, I think that should be totally allowed. Like Capcom, you basically put this art out into the world. Like it's not technically yours anymore by like a certain degree.
This is true, very true, and I mean like this almost seems like as bad as when Nintendo would like pull the plug on several Smash Bros tournament just because they weren't using like specific things that are supposed to be, compatible with that. So like it's just something that doesn't I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's weird. Capcom put this all out there for us to enjoy, within reason. We should be allowed to do, whatever we wish with, these things that Capcom is putting out here.
Like with our own copies that we have ourselves have bought with our own money. And like it's not like we're going to like distribute them in mass for a profit. Like it is really just us playing around with these files just for our own enjoyment, our own personal enjoyment. It's not like we're trying to hurt the company or anything.
There you go. And it's because of, and with mods and stuff like that, like if mods didn't exist, then we wouldn't have a bunch of spin-offs, unofficial spin-offs of different games and whatnot, which furthermore, by the way, people love unofficial spin-off games so much. And we've seen on quite a few occasions in various parts of the gaming industry where so much traction has been picked up on on a fan game that it's gone ahead and become official. So
yeah, like if anything, I think Capcom should just be using these modding communities to like start recruiting for their teams
within reason, obviously.
Obviously within reason, but yeah, like you have all these great programmers who want to like work on your game out of just passion projects. So if they're doing a good job and you like what they're doing, like why not just hire them right off the bat? Like, dang.
You should do what Cyberpunk 2077 did. Basically, they had some modders basically make the game barely playable when it first came out, and after some time, they were actually able to make the game playable.
Yeah, community involvement, like Capcom. Like if you want a fighting game to succeed, or just any franchise to succeed, a community is like vital, and you gotta be willing to be proactive in that, and let your community be proactive in the game.
There you go, and I mean, I'm not gonna kiss anybody's ass or anything. I'm not gonna blow smoke up anybody's ass, but like, if you take these things away, you're to an extent you're basically destroying, your own fan bases, and nobody wants that, right? We stick around because we enjoy the content that's being put out, and we want these things to succeed, right? And if we feel like, there's things that are missing that could have made the game better, that's when we pretty much take it into our own hands, and that's why we come up with these own mods ourselves, so that in a way the game, feels a bit more, I don't know if complete is the right word, but I guess at least makes it that much more appealing to the fan base in question.
Yeah, like at the very least, like if you're not going to use these mods for recruiting, like at least use it for market research.
Yeah, you never know how many people you're going to pull in with these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like market research, like this, like modding is a gold mine for market research. Like if we ever made our own fighting game, like hint, nudge, you might make this in the future down the line, who knows? But yeah, if we make our own game and it turns into like its own series, I'm gonna definitely be looking at the modders to see what they want, to see what they're looking for in a game.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And
I think there is. Oh, sorry.
No. I was just about to apologize. I think I've cut you off like 4 or 5 times now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, the only problem that we have hampering this down, though, these are all fantastic ideas. And incorporating modders into maybe helping make a game is a fantastic idea to get everything going, because you have basically limitless idea. You can have up to limitless ideas, which can make any game more fun. However, the only thing is it's Capcom's attitude towards this stuff, which is a bit not that way. As essentially, modding the game has basically getting almost close to equated to basically cheating, which in my opinion, I think there is a little bit of merit to that, but very, very, if there is any, a very small amount. Because what if your game is broken and one of these mods, fixes that?
I can definitely agree with
you. Got to take everything into consideration here.
Yep, I can agree with that.
I mean, sure, if it's like mine during a tournament, yeah, sure, that's cheating by any means. But like just for your own personal enjoyment, yeah, modding can be beneficial.
Mm-hmm. So again,
if you play online, don't use mods.
Yeah, like you don't you don't want to drive people away, and diminish your own fan base just because you feel like this could be, equal to cheating. But nonetheless, though, it's a very very big topic. I've seen a lot of people talking about it over on Reddit. I'm not even going to bother getting into the Reddit discussions. But yeah, this is something that people should definitely keep an eye on. And basically just monitor it and see how things go.
Anyways, Wolf, didn't you have anything about the Street Fighter 6 trailer that you wanted to share?
Let's get into some good news with Street Fighter 6. Wolf, what do you got for us?
Yes, so for those of you who might have missed it, a teaser trailer for our next DLC character, Ed, just dropped the other day on Capcom and Street Fighter's social media handles. The trailer is also up on YouTube, and man, oh man, I've never really been that big on Ed, but he pretty much might just end up being the next best character for the game. And considering...
I mean, when did Ed actually get introduced to Street Fighter? Because I've never heard of him since before now.
If I remember correctly, Ed was first introduced in Street Fighter V, I believe. I don't really know that much about him because I never played as Ed. But like just the design of him, just his character design alone is making me reconsider about playing Ed. He looks great. And I mean, man, a teaser is not enough for this guy. We need like an actual trailer and stuff like that. We need an actual full-length trailer. We need to see some gameplay of this guy. He is probably going to be, just from the looks of this teaser, he could end up being a top-tier character, much like how Juri and Ken have basically dominated the character usage charts when it comes to online gameplay. Like, just, oh, man. This guy, we need to know more about him. We need to know more about what role he's going to play in Street Fighter 6 once he actually does come out, because...
And when does he come out? Like have they set a date for this yet?
Not an exact date, but it's said that he's going to be releasing sometime this spring. So, could be in March, could be in April, could be in May. We'll pretty much just have to monitor. We'll pretty much just have to keep our eyes and ears open for an official release date. But yeah, Ed is looking really good from this teaser trailer, and like I said, we need more of him. I want more of him specifically. I don't know about anybody else, but he looks great, man.
Honestly, he looks like if to me, he looks like if Luke and got merged with I'm not even sure what, but he gives me serious Luke vibes, like with the whole baggy jacket and all that.
Yep, absolutely.
He's kind of like if you put Luke's clothes on a gender swap version of Cammy.
You know what? I could definitely see that, and already I've seen a bunch of fan artwork that is just being really silly. Apparently, there may be some ties between Ed and Luke. Just based off of a few pieces of artwork that I've seen in the Street Fighter Reddit community. I'm not going to name any names, but there was one piece of artwork where Ed and Luke were having a stare down, and Jamie's in the background watching it all, and he's like, I don't think these two are going to get along. So it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of role he plays specifically in Street Fighter 6, because like if we look back, for example, to Aki, who released earlier last year, apparently she is a disciple of Fang, who was one of the new characters that we got in Street Fighter 5. So that makes a lot of sense. The fact that, you know, she's working under the tutelage of Fang, it's going to be really cool to see what Ed ends up doing in SF6. But moving away from that, on the topic of these trailers, we got another trailer for Tekken 8. It's everyone's favorite silver-haired demon, Lee Chaolan, bursting into the fight.
And did he ever burst? Like, honestly, Wolf, that trailer of his, flamboyant. That's if I had to like condense him down to one word, flamboyant. That would be the word.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on. Like, name me one male character that pulls off wearing purple that well. Like, dude, Lee is absolutely flamboyant to the max, and I love that about him. I've never played as Lee ever, but that's one of the things I've always appreciated about his character, is that he's just so out there. And it's really freaking cool.
And hang on, how new is he into Tekken at this point?
He's been around for quite a while. I want to say Tekken 4 or Tekken 5. That he's been around since. So he's definitely he's stuck around for quite a while. And I mean, just, man, I think this might be the best look for Lee yet. I think this is probably his best look.
Okay, so he's not a veteran per se, but he's also not a newbie either.
Pretty much, yeah. He's kind of like in that gray area, I suppose, where he's not a veteran, but he's not a rookie, so I guess you could pretty much classify him as a pro, maybe. But yeah, he's been around for a while, and he's got ties to the Mishima bloodline, so that makes things even more interesting.
And by that, do you mean like he's the actual biological son of them, or he's like adopted son, or like what relations are we actually talking here?
Oh boy, it's see, this is one of the things that I've always hated about the Mishima bloodline, is that the family tree is just, oh my god, it's complicated. Oh yeah,
it's a mess.
Man.
It's a mess by all means, but
it's like, complicated.
Where does Lee exactly fit in though?
Well, what it is here is that he's obviously not of blood, but he's apparently, if I can get a better look at this here, let's see. So Lee Chaolan, he is allied with Lars Alexanderson, but apparently he's like a half uncle or something like that. He's like a half uncle. Lars is like a half cousin or something. I don't know. It's really, really strange. And keep in mind, this is all in relation to Jin, by the way. This is all in relation to Jin.
Oh, jeez.
So in essence, needlessly complicated.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Honestly, like, the Mishimas are more complex than the JoJo family tree.
I was just about to say, and you would think that the JoJo family tree was complicated enough as it is.
Oh yeah, because they have an uncle who's younger than his nephew in that family line, and that's just crazy.
That's messed up, man.
What sort of shit?
Oh yeah, Pharaoh. I keep forgetting you haven't actually watched any of JoJo yet, so.
Well, I've seen like 2 or 3 episodes of it.
Yeah, that's still like seeing nothing of it, because it goes hard into the family tree and all the friends of the family and all that. So geez. Yeah, it like by part 4 it gets pretty wild. So Yeah, but I would say that even the JoJos have nothing on the Mishimas.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, given his hair color, I kind of figured in some way he would be related because, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like maybe a crazy, ridiculous, semi-canon theory that I have is that he masks his allegiance to the Mishima family or his identity in regards to them by dyeing his hair silver when his hair is actually like white or something, or it's like black. I don't know. It's a stupid theory. It's a weird theory.
Hang on, why
But
would white hair connect him to the Mishimas though? Aren't all the Mishimas like black haired?
well, to an extent, obviously, but yeah, no, it was just a crazy thing that came up to me on the spot. It's freaking weird. Everyone has like their crack ship theories or whatever.
And that's just yours?
Yeah, that's pretty much mine. Like it's almost kind of like he's trying to mask the fact that he's connected somehow to the Mishima bloodline. So I don't know where I'm going with this.
Be straight, I'd be happy of one thing.
Yeah.
At least the family tree isn't a wreath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's you know what? We're not going to get into that territory. That's a barrel of monkeys. We're not going to cover.
Yep.
Nope,
That's true.
I agree. I agree.
But yes, I was getting a little bit off track there, but yes, Li Xiaolan is back in the game. He's looking better than ever.
And Wolf, as far as like game mechanics though, what kind of fighter is he exactly? Because I watched the trailer and I couldn't get a good read on like what archetype he actually fell into.
Lee is, oh man, he is something, I'll tell you that much. In terms of his fighting style, he uses a mix of martial arts and Mishima Ryu karate, from my understanding. But yeah, basically it's basically just regular martial arts that he utilizes.
Yeah, but is he like more of a rushdown character or a zoner or
like
from the gameplay like from the gameplay I know he's not a grappler.
Yeah, no,
so
personally
where does he fall?
I think he's going to be more of a rushdown character from what I'm seeing. And you know what? I think he's going to make for a really good rushdown character. Absolutely. So definitely, I can definitely see him as a rushdown. And yeah, I'm not even really sure if there's anything else I can really say here. I'm just still blown away by the trailer. This was one of the best ones that I've seen for a character in the base roster. So yeah, still trying to recover from
we
that.
all know that Rey is the best.
Yeah, well, I don't know. To an extent, maybe, because I also found Victor's trailer to be pretty good. And
okay, true. Like Victor was pretty suave, but come on, let's face it. Purple Lightning is like top tier trailer.
That's fair. Although I do have something now that I want to ask you. Mm-hmm. Who do you think would win, Lee or Victor?
Ooh, that is a good question. Like they are both pretty suave in their own right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Lee's more of an assassin, like Spec Ops kind of guy. Then Victor's like your more suave, like billionaire playboy fighter. So it would be like the high tech versus like the skill of like the Black Ops.
Yeah.
Field. So if I had to choose a winner, I think I would have to go with Victor just on the merit that he can teleport with whatever that Matrixy stuff he has.
Yeah.
I think no matter like how good you are as a Spec Ops, I think you're going to get told by any like advanced tech that can like whiz you around the stage.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be a tough one.
I'm definitely going to go with Victor on this.
Fair enough. And you know what? Once the YouTube channel is up, that is going to be one of the first matchups we're going to do is Lee versus Victor. See who is superior in the base version of Tekken 8. Obviously, as we know with all fighting games, there will be balance patches coming out as time goes on. Characters will get nerfed, characters will get buffed. So I think it would be a really cool thing to revisit these different matchups as time goes on and see how much they've changed or how much they haven't changed. Because, like, by the time the final patch goes out, like, it's going to be a completely different game by the end of it all.
Yeah. So game on.
Yep. With that,
we will make that our inaugural match for T8 when we finally do the full game on the YouTube channel.
Abso-freaking-lutely. And now I'll throw it over to you. You've got quite a bit of info here to let our fans know about.
Yes, so I did kind of by accident posted all my notes for myself in the itinerary for this episode. But yeah, speaking of patches and the whatnot, so we have more news from the developers of Spiritfall. Ooh. So in case you guys don't remember my shout out to them in early episodes, Spiritfall is a 2D roguelike platform-esque fighter. It's a roguelike, it's 2D, it's a platformer, but it has like Smash Bros. Fighter elements to it. And so just that on its merit alone is why we cover this on this show, even though it's more of a roguelike than a fighter. But I think it still deserves a spot here just because it's like so darn cool. Anyway, so for all of you who have been wanting to know like when this game is actually going to get fully released, it is going to happen this year. It is going to happen soon. I have seen the update from the developers on Steam. They have showed us that the game has one final update that just came out recently. I have downloaded it myself. It is the Perennial Tactics update. And so what this does is what this does is it's basically like a lot of bug fixes and a lot of balance patches that, fighting game-esque mechanics, so it's part of the course. So yeah, so some blessings have gotten nerfed, some have gotten buffed, some have just gotten like redistributed, and then there's other like quality of life stuff, like just faster like less delay for bringing up the menus in the middle of a game, stuff like that. And then of course they also have controller vibration now. So if you ever want to have like a haptic thing in your game, like that's up there now. You can toggle on and off. But probably the biggest thing that they've added in this new update is so if you thought that the bosses in this game were bad enough, and believe me, like I'm still like I've unlocked a decent number of upgrades in this game already, and I'm still stuck on the second region.
Oh my gosh!
Honestly, like those three guys to make up the boss for that region. They are relentless, and I still have not been able to get them down to like even 50% bar. Honestly, it's been a freaking nightmare. But to like add insult to injury, the devs of this game in this new patch have added in new challenges in the game, which basically give you like elite versions of the bosses.
Oh no!
Ergo, they have more damage and more health. But now they also have heavier hitting and even new attacks. So yeah, like I'm not saying that this isn't comparable to the Hollow Knight God Trials, for those of you who know about Hollow Knight, but I'm also not saying that. Like,
oh dear God,
this honestly is like a big skill fest for any like roguelike or fighting game fan, or just anyone who has had their career on gaming playing through Dead Cells. Like honestly, if you're looking for some good skill testing in platform fighting, get your hands on Spiritfall. And if you want to get your hands on this game with a good price tag, definitely get it right now, because right now after the update the game is going on a little bit of a sale. But then once the game fully releases with this 1.0 release, they will be marking up the price to make it reflect their time and effort on this game, which it definitely deserves. But if you still want to be able to get this game for a good price, like a cheaper price, definitely go out and get it on Steam now. Like at least wishlist it it because this game, like when it fully releases, it's gonna be awesome. So Wolf, Pharaoh, I highly recommend you guys, if you haven't already, get yourselves this game because it's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, will do, buddy. Will do. Sounds freaking amazing.
Like, actually, have you guys even looked at this game yet? Like, I'm kind of curious. Like, I know I've talked about it before on the show, but have you guys actually gone off on your own time and actually looked at this?
I've had a few looks at some gameplay, and boy oh boy, does it look promising. This game is freaking
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, honestly, all this game is missing is a multiplayer, so that we can all like go on and just raid these dungeons together.
Man, that's gonna be absolutely freaking epic, and just holy cow, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, honestly, if we ever if the next year that we start doing like streams or whatever, we should definitely do like a 3-man stream where we both go into Spiritfall. We set like a time limit, and then we all try to like get as far as we can, like make it like a marathon race or something like that.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea. Pharaoh, what do you think?
Wouldn't be a bad idea to give that a try.
No, yeah, like, and plus Pharaoh, your main claim to fame with finding games of Smash Bros, and this is basically like Smash Bros roguelike, so this should be right up your alley.
Sorta, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds freaking
okay.
amazing.
All right, so whenever we get around to figure out streams, everyone listening at home, we will make Spiritfall our first stream, and who knows, we might make it just like a challenge for everyone to log into and hang out, or you know, we could make it that first charity stream. Who knows? But
Yep.
but we'll save that for another day. In the meantime, moving on to our indie spotlight. So for this indie spotlight, Wolf, I know you gave us Wamba Warriors last time.
Yep.
And this time, I want to introduce you guys to a fun, rudimentary fighting game. For those of you who may have had a taste for Fantasy Strike and all like the back-to-basics simplistic gameplay of that, then you will love this next indie game we have for you. It is the game Footsies.
Oh boy.
Now, what Footsies basically entails is what's in the name. It's all about footsies and poking your opponent. Like, this game is as simple a fighting game as you can get. There are only 3 buttons. There is forward, there is back, and there is attack. Now, you might think, okay, so what's the point? Like how good can you make the game with just those 3 buttons? The answer, quite a bit, because like your neutral attack, like that's like a low kick, you know, it's got more range, but it's slower. And then if you press like it's all the combination of buttons that you press. Like if you press forward and attack at the same time, you'll get like a rising knee that's shorter range, but it's quicker on the frame rate. And then you have other things like holding down the attack key and then letting go in neutral, letting go in forward. That can get you to do either a back kick or a shuriken, respectively.
Interesting.
And yeah, so this game really gets you into like knowing your basics of your fighting games, because so each player, like, it's basically a best of 5 rounds, and each player gets in each round each player gets 3 shields, which basically represents their blocks. Now you can block about 3 times, and then your block kind of breaks, and then you can't block anymore. So it's really all about like playing footsies, poking your opponent, getting them to like just whiff, and then you whiff punish them.
Oh,
That's basically the whole component of the game. Of course, even when you run out of blocks, there is still hope for you, because if you run out of blocks and you put in the secret combination, that's when you can actually pull off, and I kid you not, you can actually pull off a Raging Demon from Street Fighter in this game.
You have got to be freaking kidding me. How the
I am not kidding you right now. Like, you can like with just 3 buttons, a game that gives you 3 buttons is essentially like a 1-button fighter. You can pull off a Raging Demon. The conditions are you have to have those, like, you have to have lost all of your block shields, and then you have to put in this crazy combination of buttons. It is basically attack, attack, forward, attack, attack. So definitely simpler than like a Street Fighter, like Shoryuken or whatever, but you know, still like you got to button mash just a little bit to get that to actually go off. And I've actually gotten it to go off by accident in the past when I tried challenging the arcade ladder, which I will say the arcade ladder is incredibly difficult. Like, granted, like it has like losing it to it so many times has done some good for me in that I've gotten much better at blocking. Like, if you want a really good training tool to get people to like learn how to block and how to just like read their opponents better, this is the game to do it. Like if Fantasy Strike was the game to like, you know, get people like more accessible to fighting games, like this is the game that is good for like your training arc, like to get you really good at reading opponents, learning how to block when you need to, and learning how to whiff punish. This is a good game to learn how to whiff punish. So, but yeah, like and the training ladder, like, or no, sorry, the arcade ladder in this game really reflects that, because I kid you not, the first opponent you have to face in the arcade ladder is named Spammer. And so what this guy does is that he basically spams random attacks. He's basically just a spammer.
Oh no!
Oh, so his namesake.
Yeah, essentially, and it just continues with this whole theme. So after you beat him, you get to Blocker, who just blocks a lot, and he's the bane of my existence. I have been able to only beat him like maybe 2 or 3 times out of the like 50 times that I've tried facing him. He is a tough nut to crack. And then surprisingly after that, the third opponent that you face, which is named Regular Guy, is actually a lot easier, because like he plays like a normal guy, and he basically tries to play for those like hold attack specials and just win like that. So, you know, it's relatively easy to whiff punish him. But then even after you face him and you get him off the board, then you have to face the fourth opponent, who is aptly named Whiff Punisher.
Oh,
now,
of course.
So far, I have not been able to actually defeat this guy myself. He has been a pain in my rear ever since I started trying the arcade ladder. But I have no doubt that he is going to make me a better fighting player for it, and it's going to be so satisfying when I finally beat him. So satisfying. Yeah, so this game has a bunch of cool stuff, and like you can play online too. Like there are online lobbies that you can create for yourself. So if you want to play with friends, you can. Like granted, this game does not have a big online community, and I'm really sad about that, because this is like the perfect game to like get good at fighting games. So I think this game definitely deserves a lot more love from the fighting game community, and I think more people should try it and give this game a try and just play more of it. And like I have seen some YouTubers online who have hosted their own tournaments. So, you know, like let's do more of that, FGC. Let's do more of that. This game is currently on Steam, as far as I know. I don't know if it's on Switch or PS or PlayStation or what have you, but it is on Steam. So if you want to go try it out, go try it out. It's available on all computer types: Mac, Windows, Linux, what have you. So if you want to give this game a shot and get good at blocking and whiff punishing and reading your opponent, this is the game to go. Definitely go check it out. And aside from that, there's also like customization in this game too.
Oh.
Like even though this is like a rudimentary like 8-bit style game, it actually gives you a real lot of freedom in terms of like creating a headdress for your character.
Okay, that sounds awesome. That sounds so cool.
Again, this is all just like black and white, and it's all like pixelated, and your character, like, no matter what, it's gonna have like the bandana that's around their head.
Yeah.
But aside from that, you can basically make anything you want. Like you can make a chef's hat, you can make a crown, you can make a little ninja sash or whatever.
Oh.
So they're like, even though it's a very simple game, really rudimentary, there's a lot of freedom here in terms of like being iconic and being your own, like being able to be easily identifiable. So I'm definitely looking forward to the day when we can get onto YouTube video, and I can try facing you guys in this game.
That just sounds amazing. Like if I wasn't already invested in getting this game, I am even more invested now. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah. And for all you guys at home who want to try this, like, definitely try getting it because it is very cheap. I will tell you, it cost me like, I think maybe $10 at most, if not less. So, like, you really have no excuse. It's the best tool I have ever found for learning how to get good at fighting game fundamentals. So, really, what are you guys waiting for? Go get this game. It's awesome.
You are not going to regret it. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I think with that, now we're going to get into something very interesting that has been on our minds for quite a while now, Pharaoh. Our discussion topic for this episode.
Yes, that is correct. So, tonight's discussion topic is how fighting games will evolve now that arcades, at least North America is concerned, are on the decline.
Yeah, we will acknowledge, guys, that arcades aren't dead entirely. Like Japan has still got a roaring arcade community, but yeah, over here, kind of dying out.
Yeah, it bites that there's not as many arcades as there used to be circa 1970 onwards. But yeah, I think one of the ways video games could go, fighting games in particular, would be going into virtual reality. Now, I'm not really going to say too much about this because we already have that as a separate topic that we will dive into later on down the line. But I think it would be a really interesting way to expand on the different platforms that a fighting game could be on. Because, I mean, you already got fighting games on handheld consoles, on just consoles in general, like the PlayStation and Xbox. You've got fighting games on PC, got fighting games on mobile devices, albeit they're a lot tougher on mobile devices. But yeah, virtual reality, I think, could be the next big step forward for fighting games.
Cool. Pharaoh, what about you? What where do you think fighting games are gonna go? Like now arcades are kind of on their way out.
I'm gonna be honest. My opinion, if I'm gonna be totally honest here, is that fighting games nowadays, at least regarding our AAAs, are all repetitive, and they're all just kind of. There's not really much ingenuity on from the previous, other than like maybe changes in characters. And that's it. Like, there's got to be like a spark of genius that's needed to really bring something original to the table.
Okay, so you're thinking that fighting games are going to stay as far as consoles go, but as far as like gameplay wise, you think they're going to have like a new renaissance to keep going, essentially.
Yeah, because it's like, at least when you've seen like I think like we use like Street Fighter 5 and 6 for example or something.
Right.
When you really think about it, they're pretty similar. There's not really a whole lot of changes that have been implemented, but like it needs a nice change. Obviously, like not enough to make the game unrecognizable. Like, we don't want that, but like something new that'll please both your diehard fans and your and even bring new people into it too.
Okay. Well, what do you see that as, though?
That's the problem. I don't know. It's a predicament. It's like you strive for something better, but we don't know what that better is.
Yeah, I can understand that.
That is definitely food for thought. So, guess all you upcoming fighting game devs, bear that in mind, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, you want to make sure that you can please, all the sections of your fan base. Like, one way that, like, a prime example of how that didn't work, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That is a prime example because we ended up going from the 3-on-3 chaos that MVC3 brought to a 2-on-2 kind of format, but it just felt way too easy to play. And it was blatantly obvious that Capcom was leaning too far into catering towards the casual audience, that there wasn't really that much room to cater to the competitive audience. And unfortunately, at this point,
it was kind of like it kind of was like a cheap cash grab.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the main reason why, when you're talking about Marvel vs. Capcom, barely anybody, if anybody, brings up Marvel Infinite, because it catered too much to one audience rather than catering to both audiences. So you want to make sure that the changes are substantial enough that you'll cater to both sides, and that way hopefully it won't be a failure. So yeah, definitely something to bear in mind.
If it may,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming the AI in Marvel and Capcom Infinite, I'm assuming the AI was just too easy.
Not so much the AI being easy, but it was just like it was the controls. Like the controls, they were far more complex in Marvel 3, that basically it was like just bringing it back, making it as bare bones as you possibly can without it being completely
it was very
bare
button
bones.
mashy, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So like that caters to, your casuals a lot, especially those who are not just getting into Marvel vs. Capcom for the first time, but also getting into fighting games in general. Like, it's a great game for those who are just beginning their fighting game journey, but there's a reason why there weren't really that many tournaments. Especially as far as Evo is concerned. I think it only showed up at Evo maybe once or twice. So really, that's like, you just got to make sure you're catering to your entire fan base. Casuals, competitive, you got to make sure you can please people. And unfortunately, Marvel Infinite it was pleasing, but it just wasn't getting the job done. Simply put, it wasn't getting the job done. I know I sound like a broken record, but you talk to anybody about Marvel Infinite, they'll probably tell you the same thing.
I bet. But in a way, it's sort of like a reverse WWE.
Something like that. I guess you could say that.
Going from a more manageable system to having to press like 4 buttons to do a signature.
Yeah,
which I think is a little overly convoluted.
Yeah, I could definitely see the comparison there. Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, like, as far as like where we think fighting games are gonna go, like I think with all this new AI technology that we have coming out this past year, I think we might start seeing the rise of something like Mega Man NT Warrior Net Navis. Like, we could have like AI digital fighters that we may not actually control, but we kind of coach, and it becomes like an arena bash kind of thing. Like, I could definitely see that being like the future of fighting games. Maybe there's a thing where we eventually take control for some segments of our net navis or what have you. I'm not saying that's what they would actually be called, because copyright of Capcom, but something along those lines, like our own personal avatars.
That actually
talk about that. That should be a discussion topic. AI in video games.
Yeah. Like, I think that might be like a future topic for a future discussion episode. But yeah, I think that's where I think that the fighting games are going to go in the future. Now that arcades are kind of dying out in the West, and we're getting some more of the personalized computers, and just all of that. Like everything is on your phone these days, so why not have an AI assistant on your phone that can actually just like be someone else's AI assistant on their phone?
This is very true, and I mean, like, not all people like the idea of AI in video games. I know that this is semi-related, but I know that Square Enix has made it very clear that they are going to be very aggressive in applying AI to their future video game entries. But you know what? I think it is very possible, and I think this is probably the most probable option as far as the future of not just fighting games, but just video games in general. I think is being driven by AI, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that influences how that in fighting games specifically influences other video game genres, shooters, strategy games, RPGs, racing games. It's a very interesting time to be following on technology these days.
Yeah, so we might hold AI itself into its own discussion topic in a later episode.
I have my own opinions on that, and they are less than positive.
Okay, then.
Believe me,
you're a very recent release.
Believe me, you're not the only one. I'll tell you
we'll
that.
Talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so I think we've layered on this topic long enough. So Wolf, how about you lead us into the last segment of the show?
Sounds good. By now you guys know that we usually wrap up our episodes with a brief discussion about dream rosters. For those of you who are completely new to this podcast, simply put, we discuss the idea of fandoms or franchises that do not have a fighting video game. And it doesn't have to be just video games. It can be movies, TV shows, book series, whatever. So that's pretty much the general synopsis for this segment. The one that I chose is it's very interesting. I don't know how I didn't think about this before, but a fighting game involving NHL mascots.
Oh, here we go. The big sports fan of us.
That's funny.
You and your Maple Leaf jerseys. Honestly, Pharaoh, we should have saw this coming at some point.
Yeah, considering I've been to enough Leaf games with Wolf before, I know about that.
Yep. This is what it's come to. Honestly, like, you got pretty much mascots for every NHL team, so that's roughly about 30 to 32 mascots. And as far as
hang on. So like coming from a non-sports guy here, do the Leafs actually have their own mascot?
Yes, they do. As a matter of fact, his name is Carlton, and he is a polar bear.
Oh, right, him. Oh, I totally forgot about him. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, well, so how would an NHL mascot fighting game actually play? Like, would this be like an arena fighter, 2D fighter? Like, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking that it would be like a 2D fighter, but with an interesting mechanic put in. There would be the option to, I guess, in a way, finish your opponent. So, brief little reference to Mortal Kombat there, but instead of a finishing move, it would take on the form of a shootout. And so it would kind of work a little bit like how Mortal Kombat uses fatalities and mercies. So if you do manage to score on your opponent, then it's a victory. If you don't manage to score, it would be pretty much a mercy, and your opponent gets a bit of their health back, and you continue fighting.
So, in an actual match, would the opponents be like trying to get a puck in the other side of the screen all the time? Like do you see this as being like a 2D fighter plus Pong?
Yeah, if you want to think of it like that, yeah, I think that's a very good way to put it. Like this idea just came to me out of the blue, so I wasn't really sure how I was gonna go about kind of constructing the idea in my head. So yeah, Pong, but make it like a 2D fighter. Definitely seems like a very good idea. And as expected, it would follow your usual format, first to two in a 3-round match. But not only that, but I would also want to include something a little more fun, like basically have the option to actually play like a hockey game in there, kind of make it a little bit like what Tekken 7 had with Tekken Bowl. Make it something
Oh
similar
yes,
to that.
that was a lot of fun. You and I have played a lot of matches with that.
The three of us have, yes, we've had quite the mountain of memories for that one. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea to not only have the fighting aspect of it, but also have something a little more casual as well. Because I mean, like, yeah, you can enjoy fighting and whatnot, but for some people, sometimes it gets repetitive and sometimes it gets boring, and maybe you want to change in pace. So I would definitely say having something similar to bowling in Tekken 7, I think would be a pretty cool way to go with this.
Cool.
All right, with my ridiculous idea out of the way, who's going to be next to share theirs?
I think Pharaoh should, because he had a great idea for DLC.
Oh, really? Huh?
Okay, let's hear
my
it.
silly old ideas worth something?
Heck yeah!
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, I'm more thinking of DLC for Mortal Kombat, as it might fit the lore to a degree.
Okay.
Sorta. So obviously, I'm pretty sure some of you out there have heard of a hit indie title that titled Cult of the Lamb that came out about a year and a half ago. I'm thinking, since there's not a lot of actual, like, important characters in there, you'd have to take the most important ones, i.e. the Lamb, the 4 bishops, and basically the last guy you have to fight at the end of the main story. It's only like 6, sure, but hey, you know what? That could be interesting. You could have the Lamb smiting Scorpion, for example. But you'd have to have so many different. It'd be a riot. You're going
I can
from
see
like
that.
sort of a cutesy-ish opponent to someone who is objectively can be scary to some people, no doubt, with his finisher.
Yep.
You've seen the Flaming Skull finisher.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Iconic.
like, I forget what they called it, but
That one is called Toasty. That is.
oh yes, that one.
Yep.
That
Dang
one,
it,
yeah.
there's a meme. There's a meme for that, but
Yeah, of course there's a meme for Toasty.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, like Pharaoh, I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that much of a stretch, your idea, like, because like MK1, they brought Omni-Man in, who is like a 2D cartoon character. So I don't think it's too much of a stretch to put like a cutesy 2D character into a 3D space with MK1.
And not only that, but like Sheep, that's not even the craziest that NetherRealm has done for Mortal Kombat. I mean, in MKX, you have the freaking Xenomorph Queen from the Alien movies.
Oh yeah,
So-
like
that's right.
yeah, MK had all those crazy like horror horror mascots.
Yeah, so honestly, with having, or sorry, not a sheep, a lamb, sorry. That definitely wouldn't be too much of a stretch considering how outlandish NetherRealm Studios has already gone with their previous entries.
Could
So
be sort of a way on point.
yeah, pretty much. I think it would be definitely on brand to have something like that in there. And now,
Boone, if you're listening, get on to this, my dude.
yep.
You'd actually be surprised how I think this could be a very successful DLC possibility.
Yeah, very true. And now it's actually got me wondering, what sort of fatality would the lamb have? I'm actually kind of curious
Good
now.
question.
Sacrificial altar, obviously. Come on, like the whole cult of the lamb thing is to sacrifice people to the dark gods to gain your powers. Like,
Well,
so.
to be fair, the lamb takes this place of a god, so.
True.
I played through the game a bit. There's a few possibilities that we were thinking of here.
Okay.
Yeah, that just.
Ooh. There's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for thought.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
it'd be cool if NetherRealm Studios decided to pull it off one day.
That would be pretty neat. Absolutely.
Yes, AAA developers, bring more indie games into your guest spots. Come on.
I'm pretty sure Magic Monster would be very happy, but would be surprised
Oh, you're damn
if
right.
that ever happened.
Yeah.
Indeed, they would be.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
What's yours? We didn't.
Okay, so yeah. So for mine, I'm bringing us back to the good old Canadian stuff. So for my dream roster for this week, I'm taking us back to an old mid 2000s Teletoon classic. Like you guys grew up on Teletoon too, right? I know that I'm like
Oh yeah.
5 years older than you guys, but I know that you guys at some point must have watched Teletoon at some point.
Oh heck yeah, man. Oh yeah.
That was like one of my. That was one of the things I did a lot when I was a kid.
That was my friggin' childhood, dude.
Yeah, so you know that like that and like any other like Canadian children's network, usually they would have like the old Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon stuff, you know, in their main blocks, but then just to fill up all the dead space in between, they would have like a bunch of Canadian and cartoon makers or cartoon animators create like this wholly Canadian like original stuff to basically fill in the gaps. So you had stuff like My Gym Partner Was a Monkey, Wayside, Atomic Betty, and all this other good stuff. But there is one that I think would make an excellent fighting game if they happen to bring it back and like raise it from the dead of Teletoon. I think it would be awesome if they gave a fighting game to the Stormhawks. Now, do you guys have any idea what I'm talking about when I say Stormhawks?
Well, I don't think so. I don't remember ever watching Stormhawks, so I'm definitely drawing a blank here.
Pharaoh, what about you? Do you remember Stormhawks?
Admittedly, no. I have never actually seen an episode aired before.
Okay,
Despite the fact that it says it aired over 2 years, I doubt it, honestly.
Yeah. But to give you guys a rundown of basically what the main premise is, it's essentially like one of those like generic team fantasy world sort of shows where you have like a team of kids or teenagers, and you know they have to fight the big bad guy. You know, like there are good zones, bad zones, and you know all the zones in between where all their adventures go. And every episode is a different monster or bad guy of the week kind of thing, or a different problem of the week. And you know it's kind of like that. But Stormhawks I think they had like even though they didn't get a whole lot of press when they were out, I remember seeing reruns of them over the summer, like back in the day, and I remember having a lot of fun watching their misadventures because they have a really good, varied cast of characters, which I think would lean heavy into like a 2D fighter, or maybe even like a 3D arena fighter. Like I think either one of those could be good. So essentially, like it takes place in like these sort of Sky Island worlds, and you know like below the Sky Islands, there's like a volcanic wasteland. So there would definitely be a lot of really good potential for different stages, and you could have like different stage hazards and such. So to run you kind of through the main roster, I did watch like the first little bit of the first episode before we got into the air, say just to refresh my memory on who's who. So you have Arrow, who's kind of like the team leader. He's the guy who's basically the Sky Knight of the team. He's like the Ace Pilot kind of guy, and he basically fights with these sort of energy daggers. So it would definitely kind of be more leaning towards Soul Calibur kind of weapons fighting instead of like fisticuffs like all the other fighting games, because
all right,
you know Sky Knights, like kind of in the name there, they fight with weapons. So Arrow would be kind of your dagger wielding, and I can see him as like a Rushdown character definitely. And then you have I forget the big guy's name, but he's the big green rhino kind of like engineer. who's also like the heavy hitter. So I can definitely see him being a grappler. You also got Finn, who's like this blonde-haired ladies' man. He's like the sharpshooter of the group, so I can definitely see him being a zoner. You've got Piper, who's basically their tactician and navigator. And I remember that she usually played around with the gun. They had like different elemental shots, so I could definitely see her being not so much a summoner character, but definitely like a trap zoner. And then you had Stork, who was he basically piloted the big carrier that the team kind of parks all their flyers on. So, I mean, you don't get to see him fight that often in the show from what I can remember, but I definitely see him being like kind of not really a rushdown, but kind of like an assassin in like character in the fighting game. And then of course we have everyone's crazy rabid lemur thing, Radar, who I think he would be a really cool archetype in that he would be the first short grappler.
Huh, a short grappler.
Yeah, I think his whole fighting style is basically like to grab his opponents. So I think he could be the first short grappler. I think it would be a really good bit of variety for fighting games. And then that's just the core cast of the heroes. Like there's also like a couple of villains you could draw from. You got like just some other not really affiliated with like some gray area characters here and there. So it's not a huge cast, but it is enough of a cast to make a decent fighter out of this, I think.
Not bad at all. That sounds freaking amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Honestly, the main reasons why I want this, I would love this to happen is one, it's a Canadian franchise, and TNF, we're all about the Canadian franchises here.
Yeah.
But also two, I just really have fond memories of this in my childhood from watching this as a kid on Teletoon, which was also my childhood growing up. So I would love it if someday they did decide to make a fighter out of this gem of a show.
That'd be so cool, man. That'd be so freaking cool. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
so anyway, that's my dream roster for this week.
That's amazing, and that is going to bring us to the end of this one. So, with that, thank you all so much for listening. Appreciate it very much. Be sure to if there's anyone that has not heard of us, let them know. Tell them to listen to us. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Be sure to also save this podcast so that you will receive updates on when each episode drops. And can't believe we are already man, that's crazy. We're already 3 episodes into the new year. Man, oh man, we are just getting started.
Yeah, and then of course we have the YouTube channel that's dropping next weekend.
Yep, that as well.
Yes,
So,
that too.
yep, also be on the lookout for that.
Wait, it'll be an interesting ride to find to get on YouTube.
Oh, hell yeah. So, from all of us here at True North Fighters, this is Wolfpack.
I'm Shamaro.
It's Arrow.
And stay warm, stay safe, fight on. We will see you all next time. Have a good one, everybody.